guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie Wismer. I'm an author and an editor. I have 7 books out currently. And for today's video, I wanted to chat about author money, essentially. If you're newish to my channel, I'm 25 years old. I graduated back in 2019 with a degree in creative writing. I've had quite the journey to get here, but now I work full-time for myself as an indie author and a freelance editor. And that's really due to having a bunch of different sources of income and diversifying my income. I have a lot of passive sources of income. And so I kind of just wanted to do a video all about supplemental sources of income for authors. Authors having to have more than one job is not a new concept. However, I think with the rise of social media and the internet and everything, you have even more options available to you than you might realize. So instead of having to work a day job or, you know, do waitressing on the side or something like that, you might have other options that would make writing more feasible to you. And I'm all about empowering artists and creative people to be able to pursue that kind of work, because I don't think our society really does that for us. So anyway, that's my long-winded way of saying I'm gonna go through all of my different kind of sources of income. If you're over on my Patreon page, I've done income reports over there before, so you kind of already have an idea. We're not going like specific with the numbers in this video, but I just want to kind of list out a ton of different ideas for you, as well as some things that I don't personally do that might be helpful. I don't know, I'll have helpful things linked down below in the description. This video is also being sponsored by Riverside FM, but we will talk about them a little bit more in a bit. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So I've kind of separated these different points into related categories. So the first one is social media, and there's actually a lot of different sub points under there that we're going to go into. The second is your books. Obviously you make money from your books, but there's also some other things that we can talk about there too. And then the other category, I try to come up with a good fitting name, but there's none. It's just other. So social media. If you're not already in the social media space, if you haven't been posting a lot, if you haven't been like staying up to date with the trends and the different apps and everything, I feel like it can just be super overwhelming at first, and it doesn't need to be. And I think one of the worst pieces of advice that you hear for authors, or really any kind of creative person, is that you have to be on every single platform and you have to be upkeeping all of these different things in order to be successful. And I just think that's terrible advice, because you definitely do not need to be on all of the different ones. You definitely do not need to be posting everywhere. If you can and you enjoy it, that's great, but I definitely think it's better to find the ones that you genuinely enjoy, because when you're posting things you hate, I think that comes across. So the first thing I want to talk about is podcasting, and this goes along really well with today's sponsor. Podcasts, I feel like, have just come out of nowhere in the past few years as being just like incredibly lucrative and successful. And I know so many writers who have podcasts. Some of them are actually about self-publishing and writer life, or it's more of like a bookish thing and they're doing book reviews, and then some have absolutely nothing to do with writer stuff. So if you have other interests that you're kind of wondering if maybe you can monetize and turn into kind of a little bit of a side hustle, this might be a good option for you. I know some writers who their podcasts are on just like their other passions. It's about their kind of like self-help, self-improvement journey. I know some who do like their fitness and food blogging kind of stuff. So today's sponsor is Riverside FM, and they could be really helpful to you for podcasts, but also for some of the other things that we'll get to further down in the list. They're basically the leading platform that can record studio quality audio and video recordings. So you can do podcasts with just the audio, or you could do video interviews if you're doing like YouTube and things like that, or live streams. There's over 70,000 people currently using it, as well as big name companies like Spotify. What's great is the recording quality isn't affected by your Wi-Fi stability. So Riverside records it locally, so it's a lot more reliable, and you come out with a better final product. It's very intuitive and easy to use, and once you're done recording, you can separate the video from the audio. It's easy to edit. And basically, if you're looking to get into social media in the kind of content creation stage, this might be a great tool for you, whether you're recording audio for a podcast, you're doing video interviews like on a YouTube video, you're live streaming yourself, or anything like that. This might be a great thing for you to check out. They have a lot of different pricing plans available, and they also have a free trial if you just want to check them out, give them a shot. I'll have the link down below in my description. I also have a podcast over on my Patreon page, so I'm thinking I'm going to try them out to record this month's podcast. So yeah, make sure to check them out down below in the description. Going off of that, let's talk a little bit about YouTube. This obviously still is under the social media umbrella, but there's also a lot of different things that go along with this. YouTube is my longest standing author business related social media, but it didn't really start out that way. I started my channel back in 2016. It was a booktube channel. It was just for fun. long before I was ever trying to make any money out of it. And still to this day, I mean, YouTube is a significant part of my income. If you've seen my income reports, you know that, so I don't want to discount that at all, but I also don't really think of it as the main reason. I don't really think of it as a big money maker. I think of it as more of a good way to engage with my audience. I feel like YouTube is so personal. You have these longer videos, you put out content consistently, and it just feels like I'm able to connect with my readers and my viewers on this platform probably more than anything else, because I spend more time with them here. So I think if you're looking to create a community and get to know your readers and just like really form a bond with them and create a community feel, YouTube is really good for that. But when we're talking about money, a lot of people will tell you don't make a lot of money from YouTube, and that's totally true when you're talking about AdSense, which is the money that you're making on the ads on your videos. Even when my channel was at its peak and it was getting way more views than I get now, I would probably get like $600 a month from ads, which obviously is not nothing, but you can't live off of $600 a month. So I don't make that much now on the ads. So yeah, ads don't make you a lot. Sponsors tend to make you more. But then there's also other little things that you can do once you start building a following on YouTube and creating. I think the most important thing to establish with any social media, but especially with YouTube, is a sense of trust with your audience and whether or not they trust you and they trust your recommendations and the things that you're talking about. And so that definitely goes into the next thing, which is affiliate links. So I have quite a few affiliate relationships with companies where basically if I have a link down below in my description and it's an affiliate link, if someone purchases through that link, I get a small commission. It doesn't change the price of whatever they're getting, but I'll get it depending on how expensive the product is and depending on what the rate is. I'll get anywhere from like a couple of cents to a couple of dollars, which might not sound like much, but if you have a lot of clicks, it does start to add up. So I don't make like a ton per month from this, but it is at the end of the year when you tally it up, it's not insignificant. So I mean, I wouldn't, first of all, when it comes to affiliate links, I would be careful in the sense that you're only recommending things that you actually stand by. You're only recommending things that you would use yourself, and you're not just being like, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, and linking a bunch of things that you can't really speak to the quality of and whether or not you like them. Once you lose the trust of your audience, you're not gonna get that back. So I would just be careful with this one. If you have things that you genuinely like and you just want to share them with your audience, I think it's natural to be like, oh yeah, I'll link it down below, because people will ask you about it if they're interested anyway, and they'll be like, where is that from? What is that? If it's something that you genuinely like and you feel comfortable recommending to people, then affiliate links can be a great way to earn a little bit of a commission on something that your viewers were probably going to buy anyway if you linked to it. So there's a couple of different ways that you can get affiliate links. Some are kind of like blanket companies where you can link to a ton of different stores, and some are specific to specific companies and specific products. For example, I'm an Amazon affiliate person. I think you have to like apply to get into it, and I didn't realize it was like hard to get approved because I got approved my first time that I applied, but apparently it might be challenging to get into, but that obviously can link to anything on Amazon. I'm also a part of R Style or Reward Style, so that can link to things like Target and Sephora. It's more like lifestyle kind of stuff that you also had to apply for, but I didn't have any trouble getting in, and I applied back when I had like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers, I want to say. And then I know another one that people use, I don't personally use this one, is Magic Links. I'll have them linked down below if you want to look into them. I can't really speak on that because I don't know much about them. I also used to do Book Depository affiliate links. So if you're talking about books and stuff, you can link to books on Book Depository. And then some like specific product ones, again, I would be wary of this. I would be careful only to be getting into these kind of affiliate relationships if it's something that you genuinely like. So for example, I have Publisher Rocket, which is a tool that I use with my own books that helps with kind of the back end stuff of Amazon, like keywords and categories and ads and stuff like that. And I find it to be a really useful product. I use it for all of my books. And this program is great because they give you a really nice commission. So it's not often that people buy this through my link because it's a little bit pricier, but when they do, it's a pretty significant commission for me. Same with Vellum, which is a formatting software that I use for my books. I'm trying to think if I have any more. I did for a while with like, sometimes my sponsors will be like commission based, where they'll pay me like the upfront cost and whatever percentage of people end up buying it from my link during the partnership, I get some commission on that. So sometimes it's more like situation specific like that. But then like Liquid IV I was an affiliate for a while, which is like a powder that you put in your water. So it can be like random things, but I'm also really into health and fitness, so this is something that I use in my vlogs and I genuinely really like. If you have a audience that's interested in your whole life, which is kind of why I like YouTube, because I feel like I share the business and the writer and the author stuff here, but I also share my entire life, and some people aren't interested in that. They're only interested in the writer stuff. But some of my audience is interested in my life and following all of the other things that I do. So if you create a community like that, you create a platform like that, you don't have to narrow yourself down to only talking about book and author things and making money off of that if you don't want to. But if your audience is accustomed to you only talking about book and author things, randomly starting to like throw in affiliate links for lipstick, probably not your best move. So I just wanted to mention affiliate links because honestly this can be used for any social media platform. It's not like social media in and of itself, but if you have a platform on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and then you're talking about something that you can link, it is just like a potential way to make a little bit of extra money if you're already talking about something. The next one that has to do with social media is actually really recent to me, and that's Instagram Reels bonuses. So if you saw my previous 2 videos, I did an experiment where I was testing out TikToks and Reels over on Instagram for book marketing. I had no idea that people were making money. Well, I did know, but I didn't really know much about the Reels bonus program. So basically Instagram is paying people based on how many views the videos that they're posting on there are getting. So you have to be invited to join the bonus program. I posted like a reel every day for a week and then I got invited. So I think if you post like consistently for a little bit, they take notice of you. At least that's what happened in my experience. And again, this isn't like a huge chunk of money, but within this first month of me being a part of their bonus program, and I was literally just repurposing content that I took over from my TikTok. I wasn't even making new reels, so it's not like it was taking much time or effort from me. I'll be getting about an extra $300 from them this month, which again, you can't live off of $300, but that can pay for my next book cover. So especially if you're already using TikTok or Reels to market your books and you already have these videos made, if it's possible for you to get into that program, you might as well. I realized I kind of glossed over YouTube sponsors. I don't know if you want any more information on that. I do have a video from quite a while ago where I was talking about sponsorships in the booktube space specifically, so I can link that down below if you want some more information on that. But if you have any questions about this or any of the other things, feel free to let me know. I usually get questions of like, do you reach out to the companies or do they reach out to you? And in my experience, 99% of the time they reach out to me, but I do know there are websites out there that you can sign up for so you can like be notified of what campaigns are ongoing. And there have been a handful of times when I've like reached out to a company and been like, do you want to partner together? And that has worked out. So you can do both. I talk about it more in that video if you are interested in looking more into that. Okay, so now we're getting out of the social media category. So if you hate social media, don't worry, I have other things for you. Okay, so now let's jump into some things that are more related to your books, although arguably I would say social media is very related to your books. But so in addition to just making money from your book sales, there's a couple of other sources of income that you can kind of pull out from that. So one that I've been using for quite a while is I sell signed copies of my books on my website. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. I personally do it through my website, which is on Wix. I've seen a lot of other authors do it through like Etsy. And then, you know, you have the choice of whether or not you want to buy a ton of them and then have the stock on hand and just like sell them that way, or if you want to do what I've been doing lately, where I basically have pre-orders and I do a form through Google Form. I have people pay up front so I know exactly how many books to order, and then I only sell that number. That way I don't have to, you know, have boxes and boxes of books sitting around that maybe don't sell and things like that. And honestly, signed books are one of the biggest sources of income for me when it comes to book sales. I think the only avenue that sells even more is just Amazon, KDP, and then signed books is next, for which makes me the most money every year. People tend to be really excited about signed books. I send out bookmarks. I also have like signed book plates on there if people already have a book and they just want the little sticker to put in the book. So if that's something that you're interested in, I personally find it really fun to sell signed books. I like writing little messages in them, and like I draw pictures of my cats for some people when I ask, and it's been a nice alternative the past few years without being able to do in-person signings with COVID. And this is something I talk about on my social media and I send out in my newsletter. So you might be surprised by how many people are interested in doing signed books. I do only ship to the US just because of the cost of shipping. But if you use media mail, it is pretty affordable to ship. They have recently raised their rates, but depending on how heavy the package is, like how many people how many books are in the package and things like that, what the weight is, it'll be anywhere from like $3, a little bit more than that now, to like $6 for the shipping, which also the customer pays for it for me. I don't offer free shipping. And then the only other thing that I have on my list that has to do with books is something that I don't personally do, but I know a lot of other authors do, is making merch for their books, or even just like their brand and like who they are as a person and how they show up on social media. Again, you could do this straight through your website if you wanted to, but there's also some other sites that basically handle all of the distribution for you, and all you need is the design. So you can upload those designs to things like Society6 or Redbubble, or there's one that's like a t-shirt, it's like Teespring or something like that. Again, I don't do merch for any of my books at this time, so I am not the best source for information on this, but it's something that I see a lot of authors do. I guess this is just kind of a vein that I don't fully understand, because as a reader I don't buy merch for books and things like that. I wouldn't wear that kind of stuff, so I don't really have a full understanding of what people would want when it comes to my books, but obviously there are people out there who buy them and who like the things. So if that's you, maybe this is something to do with your books, especially if you have like a series and you can come up with fun things. I've seen people with t-shirts, if they have like multiple love interests in the series, it's just like team whatever character name, or if you have like a crest or like a logo that has something to do with something in the book, people put that on a t-shirt. You can get like stickers made. I've seen like phone cases and notebooks and like all kinds of stuff. And what's nice, if you use those stores like Society6 or Redbubble or something, you put the design up there and then you get a commission with every sale, but you're not doing anything. You're not creating the product, you're not shipping it out. The site takes care of all of that for you, so you're not getting a huge percentage of the sale. I think you're only getting like $1 or $2 per sale, because they're taking care of everything. But again, it's passive because they're taking care of everything, so that's an option for you. Okay, so now my last category, the other category, we'll talk about a few other things. Now these are super specific to me and my experience, as this whole video is, but these are some other ways that I'm able to supplement my income. The first one being Patreon. I think this is pretty popular just with people on YouTube here in general, so you've probably heard of this from a lot of creators that you watch. I've had my Patreon page for a while, and it's gone through a couple of different versions of the different tiers and things that I do. So this year I actually changed it to a pay what you can system, so no matter which tier you're a part of, you get access to everything. And I just really wanted to make it accessible and affordable to everybody this year, and just let other people who might have not been able to afford the higher tiers in the past get access to some of that content and just stick around. And I have enjoyed doing that this year. It really is like an honor system kind of thing. You have nothing to stop people from only subscribing to the lowest tier, but I think people appreciate when you do things like that. I currently have 4 tiers in my Patreon page. One is like a tip jar. It gives you early access to YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's basically just to say thank you. It's $2. The second tier is called my vlog club. There's a bonus exclusive vlog over there every month that's never on YouTube. That's $5, and you get access to everything below it. And obviously it's pay what you can, so everybody gets access to all of these things, but these are the technical tiers. And then the $10 tier is a self-publishing 101, where I put up a bonus self-publishing related video every month, sometimes 2 if I have extra time. And then the last tier is the Chatty Club. That's $15 a month, which is a Q&A podcast where people send in their questions about the industry or publishing or writing or whatever. Anything's game, and I answer the questions in a podcast. So that's how I've structured my Patreon page, and I kind of like having the different tiers slightly different. So like the vlog club, it's not all about publishing and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just lifestyle stuff, so even people who aren't into the behind the scenes of publishing could potentially still be interested in the content. Same with the podcast. I'll talk about what books I'm reading and things like that, so it's not just for other writers and publishing people. So my Patreon page, honestly, to me, it just feels like a community and like a safe place. I really enjoy putting my content over there. So even though it is a source of income for me, and it is a pretty big source of income for me, it's something that I genuinely enjoy doing. It doesn't feel like a chore. I've really gotten to know a lot of the patrons over on that page. I feel like I have like a genuine relationship with them, and it really, like I said, it feels like a community. And so if it's something that you enjoy doing and you're going to be willing to put in the time to do, I think it's worth it if you have people who are interested in it. But again, that's one thing in particular. I mean, if you fall like off the wagon and you stop posting on TikTok, people aren't going to be mad because they're just following you on TikTok and they're following a million other creators. If you randomly stop posting the things that you're promising on Patreon, people are paying for that. That's a lot of P words. So that's not something you want to dropped the ball on. You also don't want to overpromise things and like commit to too many different bonus things because they are time commitments, and in theory Patreon would be making your life easier, not making it harder. So I have had to cut down on how many perks I offer over there just because I didn't have as much time as I used to when I first made it years ago. So I don't offer as many bonus videos as I used to per month, but there is the backlog of all of the old ones available for people. So there's like hundreds of bonus videos over there at this point. So it's up to you on what you think you would want to offer over there. I know other authors who they share like character art and they do bonus scenes every month where they write from a different character's point of view, where they do like short stories with their characters. So you can definitely make it more reader based for like fans of your books if you want to do that. So the next thing on my list is freelance services. As I said at the beginning, I'm an author and a freelance editor. So I do services where I do some manuscript evaluations for other writers. I do copy editing, proofreading, and then I also do one-on-one coaching via video call, where basically I'll help someone through whatever part of the process or whatever part of their career they need if I feel like I can actually help them in whatever area it is. My freelance services are definitely a really big part of my income, but I come from a creative writing and editing background, so I'm not gonna get too much into that in this video. There's a lot of questionable services that are offered in our industry, so just definitely make sure if you are hiring someone that they are qualified, and if you're offering something that you're qualified. But there are other kinds of services that you can offer too if you're not into editing. I know other authors who make book covers on the side for other authors, or they help other authors with their social media. I don't know, we're all creative people. Come up with something creative. What are your other skills? What could you have to offer other people that you would also enjoy doing? So then the next thing on my list are digital downloads. This is something that I sell in my shop over on my website alongside the signed books. I basically bind up those bonus self-publishing videos that I make on Patreon into a downloadable guide, so that if people don't like the kind of like subscription style of Patreon, they can do one-time payment and just download the guides. So that's a really nice passive income because it's a digital file. I don't have to physically pack anything up and ship it. So anytime someone downloads those off my website, it's just passive income, and they're easy to run sales on and just like say in my newsletter, hey, this is 50% off today. So it's easy to sell just every once in a while, and I'm making the videos anyway. Repurpose content when you can. And then finally, just talking about my own different sources of income. This is something that's brand new for me. I started renting out the condo that I'd previously been living in before I moved here. So now I have a little bit of extra money coming in from my renters. So this is not something you can just like do on a whim, like I'm gonna become a landlord. But I just wanted to throw this in here because one, it's part of my income to give you an idea of where all of my money is coming from, but also just because I think sometimes when we're thinking about like how can we make more money as authors, we're kind of narrow focused on how can we sell the books more and things like that. And though obviously we want to focus on that as authors, if you're just trying to go full-time with us and you're trying to make a full-time living, it's okay to look outside of that and see in other areas of your life, other options that you have to diversify your income, so you're not putting all of the pressure on your creativity and you're not putting all of your pressure on the books, because I just feel like that can be a dangerous trap to fall into. So anyway, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you have any other ideas of supplemental income sources for authors, I'd love to hear about them down below in the comments. If you want to check out my other videos on self-publishing and whatnot, I have a ton that are free here on YouTube, and then also my Patreon page is linked down below, as well as my books and all of the usual links. And definitely check out Riverside if you are interested in trying out the free trial. But I think that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will just see you in the next one very soon. Bye. No.